Hi, I'm Redneck-Alcatraz, and I'm going to be reacting to Bismarck by Sabaton. Now, just so anyone is aware and everyone is aware, when I do this, I'm going to go straight through the video, no pauses. I'm banning myself from pausing it, and then I'll go back through it afterwards once the first version's finished to then nitpick and comment about things if I want to or look at something very specific. I'm gonna be honest, I have seen this video before. I enjoy it, but I want to do an actual reaction on camera to this. As for why I'm doing a straight through and then a second version, it's simple. It bothers me immensely when people just do a reaction, they're pausing it constantly. So, none of that. Now, let's get going on this and let's get to watching the video. Hands to myself.
On that German battleship, which blew up the mighty battle cruiser Hood. The signal comes by wireless and has spotted the plane's man.
Matching pants, jackets, even the boots are matching. Look like good boots too.
So, did you find the boat?
Bar looks cold. Poor Bar, he looks really cold. Gather your gear, boys. We're setting sail. Primo Victoria. I need to shut up. They doing this shit on the boat. How he doesn't break his leg doing this shit, I don't know. Full hammer on that leg.
From the mist, a ship is taking form, and the silence of the seas are bound to drift into a storm.
Big boy.
Sign of power.
Itty bitty boat. Big boat.
Raise the anchor, battleship guarding its course. Pride of a nation, a beast made of steel. Bismarck in motion, king of the ocean, he was made to rule the waves across
Boom.
the seven seas.
Miss! How did you miss?
To lead the war machine, to rule the waves and lead the fleet.
Uh-oh. Still missed. By the way, videos, effects, excellent. Movie quality. Should have this done as a movie. Ooh, swordfish. Even got the nose covering. Nose gets real cool. Fly right through the air. Torpedoes away. Oh. Right in the rudder.
The fleet is coming, he was made to rule the waves across the seven seas. To lead the war machine, to rule the waves and lead the Kriegsmarine. The terror of the seas, the Bismarck and the Kriegsmarine.
Bon voyage. Oh. Somebody finally got a hit. Yeah, boom. Headshot. Well, maybe not.
Of the ocean, the depths of the abyss, they are
Bound by iron and blood.
the flagship of the Navy.
Part of the ship, part of the crew.
His guns have gone silent at last.
I can't do air guitar. Wish I could. Hell of a song. Now to get off the ship. Off the ship. Off the ship. Okay, take the compass. Think. Or pocket watch. Then get off the ship. I hope the undertow doesn't take you with it.
Pride of a nation of beasts made of steel. Bismarck in motion, king of the ocean. He was made to rule the waves across the seven seas. To lead the war machine, to rule the waves and lead the Kriegsmarine. The terror of the seas, the Bismarck and the Kriegsmarine.
Lose my headset.
To lead the war machine, rule the waves and lead the Kriegsmarine. The terror of the seas, Bismarck and the Kriegsmarine. To lead the war machine, rule the waves and lead the Kriegsmarine. The terror of the seas, Bismarck and the Kriegsmarine.
Okay, I guess it's a compass. Had the little red arrow, so it's compass. Gotta be a compass. War knows no nation. This video is dedicated to those who fought to the bitter end in the Battle of the Atlantic. It's gotta be what it is. Alright. One of my favorite songs from them. Had to do this. And now we're going to go back through it because there's some little stuff that I really enjoy about this that does a lot. For those who don't know, Sabaton does almost all of their music about military history. Specifically, this was about the battleship Bismarck that was, I guess it would say fielded, but sailed by the German Navy, the Kriegsmarine, during World War II. Going back through. During her first outbreak maiden voyage, Bismarck got in a slugging match with a detachment of the British Navy.
Engines on that German battleship, which blew up the mighty battle cruiser Hood.
In that engagement, the Bismarck and the Prince Eugen went up against the Hood, and I don't remember what the other ship was, but it was essentially a 2v2, and the Bismarck one-shot the Hood. Fired one salvo, hit the Hood, penetrated the magazine, detonated her, and it said she sunk in less than 90 seconds. I don't know what the actual number is, but the whole ship was underwater in sub 2 minutes, essentially. I think less than a dozen people made it off the Hood alive. It was just total loss. And that broadcast, I'm going to hop back.
Engines on that German battleship, which blew up the mighty battle cruiser Hood.
That's actually an original broadcast from World War II. That recording, I've heard it before in documentaries. That's actually what was aired on British radio. Oh, the British wanted the Bismarck bad. Oh, they wanted her bad. It was probably the largest naval manhunt in wartime. Because, I mean, you hunt down pirates and all that, but to hunt a single warship of an enemy nation during time of war, I think it's the only one. I think it's the biggest one they ever did. Anyone ever did. Period. Gathering all their gear. I love it. They're getting set up now. You get set up on the boat. Really awesome they're doing this. This compass. It took me a while to catch this. It wasn't until I saw it in a comment on the original video. Those are the coordinates where the Bismarck sunk. That is where the Bismarck lays at rest. Those are the coordinates for it, on the bottom of the Atlantic. I didn't know that until somebody pointed out to me. Well, it was pointed out in the comments of the original video, which is how I found out. And then they go out into open water to perform. Yeah, from what I can tell, they actually did this. This is not a setup. This is not CG. They legit set up on the boat to do this. It's awesome. I don't know if anybody else has ever done that. Of course, the guy they hired for the boat probably thought they were insane, but it's awesome. This is great. A ship is taking form. From the mist, a ship is taking form. You could see the outline of the mist through the bridge windows. Look at this bad boy. He's looking at it like, wait a minute. That's not supposed to be here. There she is. Specifically he. Despite standard naming conventions, the Bismarck was classified as he, contrary to tradition, mainly because it was named after Otto von Bismarck. He was a German chancellor. Very successful one. Kind of an asshole, but he was very good. He also predicted World War I would happen. He was off by like 5-6 years. Otherwise, he pretty much nailed the prediction of when World War I would start and what would cause it. He was only off by like, I want to say 5-6 years, but it may have been closer to 8. Otherwise, Otto von Bismarck literally predicted World War I. Miss. I believe this is the Ark Royal, if I remember correctly. Swordfish, biplane, torpedo bombers. Scout plane. Yeah, they had to fly in low. First of all, for torpedo bombing, you have to fly in low. You're like maybe 10-15 feet off the water. You get a nasty wave that suddenly pops up, you might go under. But look at all this anti-air fire coming in. The Bismarck was probably the most advanced battleship the German Navy put to sea. And that worked against her against biplanes. Her anti-aircraft guns and their tracking systems were all set up from monoplanes. They were set to go, built and designed to go against modern equipment. The British aircraft carriers were still running biplanes for their torpedo bombers. So tracking had a hard time hitting them. Because it just wasn't fitting. This is the blow that essentially doomed the Bismarck. It jammed their rudder at an angle, because when you're getting torpedoed, naval doctrine says to zigzag to make it harder to hit. Well, they were in a turn when that rudder got hit by that torpedo, and it jammed it, and they couldn't fix it. And you can see here, a little bit, you can see the wake seems to curve. That's because she was stuck essentially doing a circle. She was heading for safe harbor after a few running gunfights, heading for France, and that torpedo jammed the rudder, so she made the circle and started going back out towards the Atlantic. The captain's engraving the coordinates, which actually they wouldn't have known, but it's a really cool thing. cruiser. This is actually a pretty good depiction of the bad angles that Bismarck was at. There she is, or he is. There's another ship off in the distance, out over here. And then one over here. Bismarck's getting hammered from multiple angles, but doesn't go down without a fight. If I remember correctly, the only reason the Bismarck stopped firing was when the British essentially destroyed all operational guns. That was when the Bismarck stopped fighting. When it had nothing to fight left with. Direct hit to the conning tower. You can see here, it kind of depicts, especially on the back end here, a lot of the guns just are knocked out. She's listing to the side, which was accurate, and just, they hammered her so hard, they brought in a whole fleet to hunt one ship, because she was solo for this. One ship they dispatched pretty much the entire British fleet after her to take her out. I keep saying her. Traditionally, ships are she's. Don't ask me why, I don't know. It dates back thousands of years. But they sent all of them after him, alone.
At the bottom of the ocean, the depths of the abyss, they are bound by iron and blood.
Once all the guns were knocked out, they sent in their destroyers with torpedo banks to torpedo the Bismarck to sink her. Because with all that gunfire, all the hammering they did, battleships, battlecruisers, destroyers, they pounded her with guns, and all they did was knock out her capability knock out his capability of fighting. And didn't sink it. All that naval gunfire did not sink the Bismarck. So they closed in to torpedo it. And as you can see, boom, 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 boom. Boom. Fun fact. Well, actually, there's the compass again. There goes that compass. Captain had it, gave it to him. This fact wasn't known until they found the Bismarck itself and started investigating it. It was believed for decades the British torpedoing of the Bismarck sunk it. It was later proven it did not. The Bismarck was sunk by its own crew. Abandoned ship was declared. They evacuated the ship, but before they did, they set the scuttling charges, which are explosive charges built into the bottom of the ship that, when detonated, blow open huge holes in it to sink it to prevent its capture. The crew of the Bismarck sunk it, not the British. They hammered it with gunfire. They torpedoed the heck out of it. They still didn't sink it. They didn't sink the Bismarck. They just crippled and disabled it to the point it was just a floating island. So the crew sunk it to prevent the British from getting it. And then they abandoned ship to be picked up. A lot of them still didn't make it. Does anybody did y'all catch this? I'll back real quick.
The terror of the seas, Bismarck and the Kriegsmarine.
Or the guy with the compass, the kid with the compass. Decades later, this is what it's supposed to be referencing. The guy that was picked up by the Brits, that's him. At least according to the story in the video. But it's amazing. It's an amazing story. There's a lot of amazing tales of heroism in the Battle of the Atlantic. The Bismarck is quite an interesting story. Um, the Bismarck itself, once the operation to deploy it happened, it was doomed. Originally, the Bismarck was supposed to set out as part of a task force with the Tirpitz, the Scharnhorst, the Gneisenau, and of course the Bismarck itself. A 4 battleship task force of the Bismarck, its twin, and its 2 older siblings fielded together those 4. I don't know if the British fleet could have handled them. It was too much of a concentration of modern and enhanced firepower and armoring and what we all know of German engineering. Sorry, German engineering is still pretty damn good. The British fleet was in many ways years and decades behind. They were still running, some of the ships they were still running were from the 20s. Some of them had seen action in the tail end of World War One. They were aged. The Hood was an example. By the point she was sunk, I think she was 15 years old. Technology had changed and advanced, and the power curve had increased. So in many ways, it's a great thing they were never deployed together. If they all went out, that would have been really bad. But that was Bismarck by Sabaton. Uh, Thank you for watching and listening to me rant and chat and nonsense. To input the normal YouTuber shameless plug, if you like this, you want to see more, like, share, subscribe, check out the other stuff that I'm going to have coming out. If you really like it, please donate or subscribe on Patreon. But in all honesty, please let me know what you think on it. I'm getting started on this. This is one of the first ones I'm doing. So let me know in comments what you think. Drop me some suggestions on uh, what else you want to see me do, what other music you want me to cover. Um, Links in the description below. Link back to this video and the band's website. Please check them out. Support them. All credit for the video goes to these guys. They do an amazing job. I don't even hold a candle to them. I'm not even gonna literally hold the candle for them. I'm not even at that point. But thank you for watching and listening to me, and I hope to see y'all later.